To learn how to rig a character inside of Duik from start to finish with access to exercise files, check us out on tunefiles.com, Udemy, or join us on YouTube. Now, there are various ways you can create head turns using these plugins, and combined with things such as the puppet pin mesh, you can really add some neat effects. But what I'm doing here is creating a step-by-step head turn. And again, you can go much more in detail, and I'm sure you can kind of figure that out. You could create a mesh, and you could assign your points, and you could morph the head certain ways, and then just go in with a slider or your joystick and create different movements based on that. But here, we're just going to do something simple, so that way you can get an idea of how this all works. And again, it's going to be similar to how we set up the hands. So here, we're just going to go in to the head, and I'm just going to find that head composition and just go in. And what I want to do is copy head side, 3/4 and front, because remember, we want those layers to be the same and also named the same. So once we have that, I can come over here and create a new switch template. Now let's name it head turn template. Come over here to my project panel, double click on head turn template, and then we can just paste those layers in. Let's make sure they're all visible, and we can bring them up like this. And while we're at it, and we still have that all selected, let's come in here and also adjust the anchor point. So we can see the anchor point's kind of down there. Just kind of come in here and bring the head so that they match that. So now we can bring this up, and that's looking pretty close with the anchor point, so that should be fine. And we can come over here, and you can just decide how you want to set this up. So we can kind of go like this for the profile on that side. You could have 3/4 in the center and then front on the left. Now there's something else you could do with this as well if you wanted to. What if we come in here and we change head side to head side dash left and then hit enter. And then we go to head front. That's fine. Head 3/4 could also be dash left. So now what I could do is duplicate these side and 3/4 phases just by selecting them and using Control D or Command D if you're on Mac, and then come in and change head 3/4 to head 3/4 right, and then the same for left too. Just come in and change that to right. Now we're just going to select both of those layers, go up to Layer, Transform, Flip horizontally. We can take then the profile view here and bring it over like so. So that's the last one we can select on that side. And then 3/4 right would go right after that. And it gets kind of tricky because it's hard to see exactly what's going on here, but you can always select all these and then kind of base it on your anchor points. And we only have really 4 anchor points visible here, so that means that this one should probably go out a little bit more like that. The 3/4 right actually needs to go back, and I need to make sure I have profile or side right to go out like that. And it might help too to lump the right ones together along with the left ones, just so it's easier to kind of gauge the order. So you can see now that they're all pretty much evenly spaced out based on the origin point. And if we wanted to, we could also try to center this a little bit more, kind of based on how the joystick's going to work. So just kind of lining up these origin points, you can come in here and just kind of get it like that. So now, once you're good, we can go back to the head composition. Now, there is an issue here because we don't have those additional layers. So, really quick, we're just going to come in here and make sure we have the names set up the same. and then duplicate these. Make sure, once again, we rename these because that's going to be important. And then we will flip the right poses, just like that. And we can bring it all to visibility here to see. And we might have to move this a little bit once we set it up. It's kind of hard to tell right now, but for right now, we should be okay. And we can adjust if needed. So, just like before, we're going to select all of these poses, come down here to the timeline. I'm just going to zoom way in and bring up position. I can keyframe position, page down, and page down 4 more times, and hit the add keyframe button so that we have 5 keyframes for each of the head poses, just like that. We're just going to select those layers and all of those keyframes, come up here and make a new joystick. This can be called head turn joystick, or whatever you want to call it. And we then want to come over here to our panel, come down to the switch template, make sure we have head turn template assigned to the head turn joystick. And once you've done that, you can link this. And you can see now we're only seeing 1 head pose. And while we're at it, we can also come over here. Let's find that head turn joystick and just move it to the parent, because that just makes things easier in the long run. Come back out here, and we do have a lot of joysticks now present, so that could be rearranged somehow. But we have the origin for this joystick right here, so I can just come in and place that down so it's not overlapping anything else. And now we can just come in here, and you can see that we can have the head turn as we move the joystick. And you can see right here, this is where we need to go in and make some adjustments, but it's pretty easy. We can now see this in isolation. Just come back here to the head's composition, locate head right, and then we're just going to ease it back, maybe just a couple of strokes like that. That looks better. And head 3/4, I believe, was also giving us an issue. So just come in here, go back to head 3/4 right, and we're just going to kick that back a little bit as well. And actually, that one might be able to go up 1 more. There we go. That doesn't look too bad. So now, when we turn all this, you can see how it's shaping up. Now, of course, the one issue with this is the hair. It's not turning along with the rest of the head. But we can also make a template for that and get it all set up. To view the rest of this course and gain access to the source files, you can check us out on toonfiles.com, Udemy, or join us on YouTube.